Hey everybody, welcome to Better Car Washing Everywhere. This is the podcast for you if you're a car wash pro or maybe you're just car wash curious. Either way, we're bringing you conversations that matter with people that you can trust. So today, we're going to dive in on a super fun topic. We're talking artificial intelligence. Most of you know that as AI, right? So we're going to talk about AI today. We're going to do a little bit of definition and we're going to talk about how that's impacting the car wash industry specifically. Now, to do that, I'm going to bring in somebody that's a lot smarter than me, especially on this topic. Meddy Ali is going to be joining me. Meddy is the founder and CEO of Hello Wash. Meddy, welcome to the show.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm super pumped for this because there's been so much buzz for so long around AI this and AI that, and I think it's going to be really fun to kind of unpack some of that and like talk about what the heck this really is and like what it's not. Really?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, AI is the new craze. We've seen really a few moments in history where pivotal things changed the way technology became. So like think the cell phone, TV, the internet, and now in our era, it's really AI. And so we have to really learn and understand what AI can do for us.
Well, and it's all fascinating too because it all comes back to like the microchip technology enhancements, right? Like the ability for it to like compound and that evolution has happened so much faster than at any previous point.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see how computers were in the 80s, full of a big room was basically a computer, and now it's this, right? So absolutely 100% agree with you.
Well, and now if you pay attention to any of the Apple rumor sites, they did an article the other day on how their latest and greatest Mac Studio can run its own AI implementation. Like now it's like a $12,000 machine to be able to do that, but it's like this big, right? It's like would fit on your desk, and that is like the stuff of science fiction. But
100%. And now we got to figure out what we can do with the car wash industry, right?
Right, yeah. So what do we do with that? Great, I've got a $12,000 box on my desk. How do I make it actually work for me? So let's talk a little bit about maybe like some brief definitions, right? Like, so we talk in AI, we're going to talk about things like people will hear terms like learning language model. They're going to hear terms like machine learning. Like, can you give us just a little bit of a walkthrough of like when we talk about AI, what is that?
Yeah, when most people refer to AI nowadays, they refer to machine learning. That's what the big hype is about, right? So everybody, when they say AI, really they're talking about machine learning. But AI has been around since the 90s, maybe even before. Think of things like, a calculator uses AI in a way, right? So if you think of AI as a whole in terms of a concept, everything that's machine learning is AI, but not everything AI is machine learning, if that makes sense. And so you kind of have three types of major AI, and two of them are really what's applicable in the world today. One of them is theoretical. The first one is weak AI, which is basically like things that power Siri, or if you went to a website and put like a list of things and said, hey, make a prediction or take this list and choose something out of it, that's called like weak AI. And then you have machine learning, which is the next level of that, or the next evolution of that, where everything that fits in, like generative AI, we'll talk about in a second, any type of other AI kind of almost fits in machine learning, like predictive maintenance. And what machine learning does is it takes data based on like anything that's historical, anything that's happening. You've probably heard the term AI is only as good as the data that you give it. Mm-hmm. And it learns from it, and then it creates new things or makes things happen from what it's learning. And then you have strong AI, and that's like human level understanding, and that's theoretical. That doesn't even exist and probably will not exist for a long time.
That's like it has a conscience.
It basically it can be creative, which AI people think it's creative now, but really it's not being creative. It's just doing from what it's taught.
Which is, I mean, I don't know. One could argue that is what all creatives do. I mean,
really,
fair enough.
Right?
Like, there's not a lot of original thought. We're just kind of pulling from previous experience and inspiration. So watch out creators. We might all be in trouble.
That's funny.
So let's talk a little bit about then, like, how does this stuff start to show up kind of in the car wash space, right? Like, what are you kind of watching from an applications perspective?
Yeah, there's a lot of places where AI could really come into the AI space. Some of that could be, there's like the bigger topics, right? Like inventory optimization or AI powered insights or customer service experience, or what can you do with AI in operations and finance? And if you're a small car wash, what can you do? If you're a big car wash, what can you do? So there's a lot of things that can happen in the car wash space. There's a lot of topics that we can cover. Where do you want to start? There's a lot.
Well, let's start with I like the idea of starting with, like, if I'm a small operator, what are some things I might be looking at? What are some things I might be wanting to do?
Yeah, if you're a small operator, there's a lot of things that you can do to make you a lot more efficient, because you only have so many hours in a day. Plus, you only have so many resources, right? You don't have $1 million to spend on marketing. You don't have $1 million to spend on customer service. And so there's a lot of tools that exist out there that can create marketing content for you. There's tools out there that can automatically write emails or respond to customer emails or answer the phone for you, or answer customer inquiries on social media. There's also many, many tools for smaller car wash operators to do inventory optimization, or do, like I said, marketing. Another one is dynamic pricing, but that's a messy one that I don't want to get into. But the big one for me also is quality control and safety. So you could really know when a motor is going to break down and be able to predict that and order, maintenance before the motor actually breaks down, so you don't have any downtime in your car wash. So there's a lot of things a small operator can do.
Well, and a lot of that stuff comes down to, well, I mean, yes, it's data, but it's connecting the pieces, right? So it's 100%. Like, yeah, great. Like I can input my inventory stuff, and maybe someday I get super advanced and my inventory is based on weight on shelves, right? And that's sending information based on what's been used. But at the end of the day, it's like, I can't take the next step unless I connect the technologies. Like, I can't do the things unless everything talks to each other.
Oh, 100%. And that's where you've probably heard the term IoT, Internet of Things. That's another huge topic that we're probably not going to have time to get into today. But that's what that means, is you're connecting everything together, right? And you need to run a car wash as a unit. And so connecting everything together is the way to go. Now, again, to get into all of the weeds of it, not all of these tools exist for car washes. They may exist, but they may not exist in the car wash space. Some of what we're attempting to do is to bring some of that into the car wash space over time. But there are things that can really have an impact on how car washes operate.
Well, so I like the idea of some of the marketing pieces, right? Because that's kind of where I live and breathe. So I've been experimenting with some of those tools and seeing what's really possible, and some of the latest updates are actually really pretty good. So if you're a small operator, it might be worth your time to go out to ChatGPT, click the reason button, right? And then have it like input some information about your demographic, what you're trying to sell, and then ask it to put together a business to consumer marketing plan for you for the next 6 months, and just see what happens. Like, just check it out. It's going to blow your mind a little bit. There's a lot of people who get paid to make marketing plans that they're not sweating, but they're learning how to adapt and how to use the tools that are at hand, right?
Correct. And you've probably seen, I mean, you've been a great marketer for what, over 20 years, and you've been in this industry for almost 17, 18 years.
Yep.
And you've probably seen the shift and how all the things change from you started in marketing 17, 18 years ago, and you come in today and you're like, okay, there are things that require human help, but there are things that AI could just do, right? It can make websites, for example, but the website will still need a human touch. And so my philosophy on AI is very different from what some others outside of the industry and even in the car wash industry are trying to input or help tell car washes is AI is here to help humans. AI is not here to replace humans. Remember, we're talking about the different types of AI. Until we have human level AI, the current machine learning is here to make us more efficient rather than replace us, right?
Yeah, and that's a huge thing, right? Because at the end of the day, that there's that little something that makes it different. So like if it's generating copy for you, yeah, you should read it, because guess what? Especially in the marketing space, AI will hallucinate. Like that just happens.
Correct.
But you got to review that stuff for the websites. But I think that where we're starting to see a real opportunity is in AI's ability to analyze lots and lots of data for us, right? Where you maybe used to have to bring in a whole business intelligence unit to do some of that work. And now you can say, hey, insert your AI unit of choice. Here's a bunch of data that I collected from my customers. Can you look at this and look for any kind of sentiment trends based on what their feedback was? And you can have pretty quickly like a sentiment report spit out of like the most common words that people use for customer feedback for you. Yeah. It's mind-blowing.
Oh,
like it's mind-blowing. Stuff 100%. That used to take hundreds of thousands of dollars and many people, now you can do within minutes.
Yeah. Many people, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and so much time with that many people.
Yes.
And AI can now do it, like you said, in minutes, depending on the size of data that you have, in seconds, right? You go ask AI right now to write you an email about a specific subject, and literally it's writing in front of you, and it's like mind-blowing. Yeah. Which is actually one of the tools that my team and I always talk about that we want to do and build in the future, is the ability for someone to go into our dashboard, a car wash, and have kind of like a chat box in their dashboard there and say, it's Valentine's Day coming up, or it's Father's Day coming up. Create me all of the social media material that I need, and all of the things that I can say, and all of the posts, and make it this size. And it would spit out this folder that has everything for that holiday or for whatever they want to do, right? And so there's so much power that we can, there's so much power in AI, and utilizing it to make us better and more efficient is the way to go.
Yeah, the complement piece is huge, especially when you start thinking about, there's been a push, at least in the express car wash market, right? There's been a push to try to reduce labor, right? Yeah. We're trying to get to the optimal amount of labor that we can have on a location to make it run really well.
Yes.
And on the flip side of that, we also changed the entire business model where we said we're going to go subscription based, and we want lots of subscribers, low labor, but that means you need to insert a layer of customer service.
Correct. Because
consumers are going to get pretty cranky if they can't get a hold of somebody to deal with their membership issue or deal with whatever experience they maybe had as the thing that they're subscribing to. Yeah. So talk a little bit about kind of what you've been working on, Meddy, in terms of where service and AI come together. And you can specifically speak to Hello Wash. I think people should learn about it.
Absolutely. I mean, I talked to so many car washes where they didn't think customer service would be such a pain that it is now, right? From the one location mom and pop shops who come to me and say, hey, I'm sitting at dinner at 8 p.m. and someone's calling me because they want to cancel their plan, or they want to see if we're closed yet, or whatever it is, right? And I don't have the money to hire somebody to answer all of these, questions that could just easily be answered if they go to our website or if they do X. Surprisingly, about 70% of all customer service inquiries are still phone calls. When I tell people what we do, we answer phone calls using AI for the car wash industry. The first question I always get is, people call car washes? And I'm like, yeah, a lot of people call car washes. It's surprising. From the perspective of the one location, is you have that person sitting at home eating dinner, and then, go to the 20 plus 50, 100 locations. They may have a small team of one person, two people. When you get up to the 200 locations, which is only a handful, you may have 10, 15 people. But even at that level, you can't catch up. You have 200 inquiries per customer service rep. That's not scalable. And so what we've done is we've basically build a solution. Everything that we do, by the way, we build our own. We've built a solution, and that's important. I'll tell you why in a second. We've built a solution that answers every single incoming phone call. And what it does, because that's the bigger portion of customer service inquiries is phone calls. What it does is it eliminates about 60 to 70% of those inquiries from the phone and only sends about 30 to 40% to the customer service team. So now your team is not bogged down by phone calls. They're getting 60 to 70% less calls, and then they can focus on everything else that they're getting, emails, web form, whatever it is that they're getting in working on.
Interesting. So, okay. So talk to me then about the flip side of that. When I'm talking about, major operations, like, I mean, this has to save me a ton of money.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So in order to become 100, we did actually a study on our side, based on numbers that we have. In order for 100 location, operator to run smoothly and efficiently at 100% capacity of customer service excellence, they need to spend about $1 million a year to hire all the people, account for churn, account for all of the things that take cost, about $1 million a year. Now take that $1 million a year and cut it by 6, 7, 8, 10x if you have AI. Because now you don't need to hire 20, 30, 40 people. You just need 10 people, and AI is making them so efficient that they are keeping up with their tasks. Plus, they're doing other things like outbound calls to fleet accounts, or they're doing other things like working on damage claims. Some car washes have their customer service team work on damage claims. Some just have a special team for damage claims. But anyways, like there are other things that they can do that you can get more out of them of. That's not just being reactive and answering the phone every time it rings.
That's fascinating because it goes back to that idea that this technology is really here to be a complement. And while you may, if you're a larger company, you may save some money on the labor that you're spending on the customer service side, but that's also giving you opportunity to spend money on labor on things that can move the needle for your business in other ways. So like if you need, you maybe need better talent on the actual wash site to be able to maximize your subscription sales. Well, now you can do that. If you need better regional operators, now you can do that because you can spend that money and invest in them in the way that you maybe need to because you're not drowning in some of this other stuff. I think that's really, really, really interesting.
100%.
Talk to me about, so as I'm thinking through what else is possible in this space, right? Like obviously sensors are everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Sensors are everywhere now. And there's a big push to like trying to create a comprehensive dashboard of all my stuff.
Yeah.
Talk to me about kind of what you're seeing in that space and like what people are kind of doing from like an AI powered insights. Like how are they leveraging that?
Yeah. So funny enough, I used to work for a predictive maintenance sensor company. That was my last gig. I was there for a while.
Nice.
And so I know this topic very well from the perspective of there's so much that you can do from a predictive maintenance perspective, but as well as other things. So if you have sensors in your chemicals, for example, to make sure that you're using the right amount, or make sure that you if there's a leak somewhere and the chemicals are going from this to this, and you're like, what is going on? And you don't know, you may not know, it may be hidden. AI can kind of take all of that data. Let's stick to chemicals for now as this example and say, hey, a car should take 4 milliliters of this X chemical, but we're seeing the loss is 10 for every car wash. AI can kind of take that data and kind of predict, okay, here are the 4 or 5 top things that could be issues that could be causing that, right? And the amazing thing is you can give it your own data, or it can know by going on the internet and searching for other data out there that exists from other car washes, right? Things like predictive maintenance of having sensors on actual motors and knowing, measuring the vibration. Having AI say, okay, this vibration is normal, but there was a little uptick here when a car came in. And it can know, okay, maybe that's just because the car came in. Or this vibration is an anomaly because there was no car there. And so it can also predict things with motors where sensors are. How water is being sprayed. Just, is even a sensor to see, is the car coming out dry, right? Completely dry. So when you connect all of these pieces together from end to end, AI can tell you exactly how to make the most amount of money for your car wash and be the most profitable based on all of the things that are connected.
I mean, that's a game changer, really. I mean, and it takes that whole piece of like operating a really efficient business in a time when there's more and more of them, right?
Yeah.
And like competition is increasing and has been for many, many years. But to be able to really run your business well is going to enable you to grow your business if that's your goal. If your goal is, I want to get to 5 or 10 locations, if you start thinking this way early on, you're going to set yourself up for scale in ways that didn't used to be possible. Like it just wasn't possible.
Yeah, 100%. And there are some great companies in the industry, again, that are doing things with AI. For example, think about damage, right? Some damage claims really cripple some car washes, right? And you see a lot of car washes losing so much money because they can't prove that, hey, I didn't cause this, or you came in with this damage, and they go in a war of like, no, you did this, no, I didn't. And there are some great companies that use video nowadays that can say, okay, this damage already existed, just based on, they use AI to say this damage existed, and you went out and it's the same damage there. You can't just come and tell me, I have proof, right? Or things like you have companies right now that have a camera in their POS system that can tell, okay, I know what type of car this is, and this car can come in, and then you can see inside of the car and say, okay, there are kids inside of this car. And then in the screen, in the arcs, you can then display things for kids, right? So there's so much that you can do to make your car wash more inviting and more just busier because you're the go-to car wash that people know. Plus make it more profitable by using AI with all of the tools that already exist to tell you exactly, hey, this car costs you 4 cents, this car costs you 6 cents, this car is going to cost you 8. I'm just putting numbers out there.
Well, which gets us kind of into like customer experience, right? Which is the next thing that people really need to be doing to be able to differentiate and to if we're in a subscription business, you got to be different from the things you can subscribe to down the street. So how are you differentiating? Well, one way is if you can leverage AI opportunities to personalize and customize those experiences for your customers, that's going to, like, people aren't doing that. Like, it's just not happening. Even if you take it a step further and you say, well, I want to arm my sales staff on site with predictive kind of objections for sales conversations that they're having with that customer, right? That's based on all these different things. All of that stuff can come together to make you really successful.
Oh, 100%. And funny enough, you bring that up because that's also another conversation my team and I are having. I come from a long experience of sales. And I think there are sales tools that exist out there that they're okay, right? They do the job. But I think there's a next level that they can be taken with AI that can be, changing for in terms of the monetary value for car washes. The tools that exist now are literally just the same for every car that comes in. Now, what if a car comes in and their license plate as they come into you can put it, in your system, and it automatically says, hey, here's all of the data on this customer. Here's how they've interacted with the car wash in the past. Automatically, like within seconds, here is how you can get them to become a member in the the path of least resistance for this specific customer, this specific car, just based on their behavior. Other things that you could do is if you have we're collecting data every day, even if we're not using it. If you have customer behavior data, which you most likely do, this person watched 5, this person watched twice, this person watched whatever, or whatever other stuff that you have, you can basically take that data and say, create me a campaign, customer service campaign or something for each of these customers separately, and it will create for every single customer, it will be a unique campaign.
Man, yeah.
Right? So we're even talking about like further than just creating one campaign for everything. It's like every single customer becomes unique.
Well, and to go even a step further, right? As we think about, as we collect our own first party data, eventually we're going to realize, oh, there's a huge opportunity for us to connect that with some third party data.
Yes.
So then we start enriching our data sets, and then guess what? It's not just about how that person washes at your site. It's about what they did along the way. Like they stopped at Chick-fil-A, they get a Starbucks coffee, they get and then you're armed again. That same data can feed your team or your wash, right? Ways to interact with that person that are going to connect with them in a way that like you couldn't do before, unless you were like looking in the car and notice that they've got a Chick-fil-A bag in the seat or something, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. And even the data that exists today can tell you where your subscribers live, how far away they live from you, because a lot of them don't put their address in the car wash when they sign up for a membership. They just put their email and phone number. But there's third-party data that can tell you have 60% of your customers live in this area. And then you kind of start to target that area even more heavily with your marketing campaigns versus another area that you think may be closer, but they're not really coming to your car wash. Maybe the demographic here really loves your car wash and here they don't, right? And so you could start doing that with other third-party data as well.
God, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. What else are you watching? If you're thinking about what's coming in the next year or two, either bigger AI in general or specific to car wash industry.
Yeah. So in terms of AI in general, AI is just kind of going at human speed in terms of not human smartness, but human speed in terms of what it can do. I think that we're going to get to a point where AI could just be, we're already there, but it could almost cut the work that you do by like 80 to 90% from the perspective of our daily lives, right? Yeah. So think about, okay, I wake up in the morning and AI just reminded me that I needed to do these 4 things because it listened to my conversation last night or something. I know that's a privacy thing that people are freaked out about, but eventually we will probably get there where we have chips in our mind. And then AI also said it's organizing my day this way. Let's say I'm going to a trip somewhere. It's figuring out the best path based on live traffic and all of that. So that's kind of like a general thing. Now, in car washes specifically, I think operators are going to get to a point where almost a lot of what they do, I want to say like 50% of what they do now that is physical. AI, when I say physical, I mean as in manual work. AI will automate about 50% of all of that manual work. It will basically do customer service. It will do marketing. It will do, again, it's gotta be powered by people, right? Yeah. It will tell them when they need to fix something, when they need to change something, what their inventory levels look like. Everything that they need to do kind of like on their fingertips so that they don't have to really go and check what chemical, they can have it on their phone, right? As far as where we're going as a company within the next year, I think we're trying to kind of change the way how customer service works in the car wash industry first, and then we're moving into operations. So operations from the perspective of selling more, things like retaining more customers, things like how do you make sure that a car wash is coming out the cars come out fully washed, right? Car wash vendors and suppliers could also heavily use AI to support their customers, because right now a lot of the complaints of car washes is my vendor is not getting back to me, or my vendor is not doing this, or my vendor is not good at this. And the problem that a lot of vendors are having is, again, people and time issues. Is I can't hire enough people, and I don't have enough time to respond to all of these things. And so AI could really revolutionize the way that they're operating. Call one of the big guys right now and order a part. It's going to be almost impossible to get someone on the phone. AI could take that order for the customer. Call one of them and try to dispatch, for example, for a broken whatever. It's going to be impossible to get someone on the phone because they're just so busy and overworked. And so AI will be able to do that. Have them run reports of some kind internally, right? They'll need 5 people to run a finance report. AI can now run that report in minutes for you because it has that data. So there's AI is going in so many directions. It's just a matter of focus and how we can make it as efficient as possible and as easy as possible for car washes to use. That's kind of where I think AI is headed.
Well, and all of that while everybody kind of gets more comfortable with the concepts, right? Like it's in this weird space where it's kind of Wild West all over the place with it, and there's all this stuff spinning up, and everybody's talking about AI driven that and AI engineered that, and at some point, like those words are just going to turn into like regular words.
Yeah.
It's like the book, great, whatever, don't care. AI, whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah. But until then, we're going to see a lot of like AI this and AI that, which is fine.
Which is fine.
But the reality is, it's all here. It's here.
It is.
It's not coming. Yeah. It's here.
You use it, or you will be left behind, right? That's honestly that's because AI is not going anywhere. Now, my only advice, well, not only, but one of my bigger advice for operators is make sure when you're going into AI or you're buying an AI service, you really understand what that company is building and how they're building it. Because if someone is using, for example, a third-party white-labeled AI to write your marketing content for you, the problem is, and I've seen this problem in so many industries, not just car washes, is when someone is white-labeling something, for example, they don't have control over development. So if you want a feature, they can't make that feature for you. If the person that they're white-labeling from raises their price by 20%, you're going to get your price risen by 20%, and you may not know that it's white labeled. Other things like, are they actually an expert? So, because I've seen so many people in the industry now, mostly vendors, not just with AI, other things, they see this cool new idea and they want to do it, and they're just throwing poop at the wall and hoping it sticks, right? But do you really understand what you're building from that perspective? And do you, for the customer, the car wash, do you really understand, and you have to really understand what you're buying, right? And so when you're talking to a lot of vendors about AI or other things, just really understand how they're doing what they're doing, and not just buying into a concept because it's new and shiny.
Yeah, I think that's super important. It's got to be based on a relationship you trust and a path that they're on that you can trust too, right?
100%. Yep.
All right, Meddy. So I've got one last question for you.
Please.
And this should be easy, although I didn't tell you this one was coming. So you've got a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit in you, and you've started some things up. So I'm curious, if you think back over the last year or two, what's maybe a lesson you've learned or something some advice that you've found that's been really helpful?
Yeah. We've been in the car wash industry for about 8 months. We've been building this product for about 2 years because we started in the restaurant industry. The piece of advice is don't be afraid to make quick changes. Like, just change quickly, and don't let change be a deterrent to moving forward, right? We decided to pivot to the car wash industry because we saw that there was a huge need and a gap that needed to be filled in this market. And it's worked out fantastic for us, right? And I see so many people right now, entrepreneurs or just operators who are just, no, I do it always this way, and I always want to do it this way. I'm actually going to put a video out soon on the Talk Car Wash Facebook page that shows operators how to automate the writing of emails back to customers. Because right now, so many operators spend so many hours going to a document and then copying let's say someone wants to cancel, copying the cancellation paragraph that they wrote, and then going back to their email and pasting it. There are tools out there you could just type a command out and it automatically fills it in for you, right? And so that type of change will make you so much more efficient. But a lot of people look at it like, no, I don't want to do it because it's different from what I was doing before. And so that's my advice, is don't be afraid to make changes that could move you forward.
Yeah, be nimble. Yeah, be nimble. Get after it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Get
100%.
after it. Awesome. Meddy, I appreciate you coming on today and giving everybody a little bit of an insight into what's going on in AI and what's going on with your company and just how this is all going to impact us in the future.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm always happy to talk AI. It's a topic near to my heart, and there's a lot still to learn. So
awesome. Well, folks, if you're listening or watching this and you're wanting to nerd out a little bit more about AI, you can go to hellowash.ai to see what they're doing there. Otherwise, Better Car Washing Everywhere will continue to provide you with lots of conversations around everything that is top of mind in this industry. Otherwise, you need to rate us. You need to subscribe to us. You need to like us. You do all the social things, please. And when you're out there, if you can, take a minute to tell someone else what they mean to you, right? Tell them about the impact they're having in your life. Just tell them that they did a good job at something that they're doing, because we need that today more than ever, and it will go a long way for everybody. So until next time, go out there, tell somebody what they mean to you, and we'll see you real soon.